Guest has always been the pivotal member of supergroups like the Byrds and Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young. A beautiful voice and amazing ability to harmonize. And in his autobiography, he tells about a very turbulent and drug-addicted time in his life. Been through it all, and he's still here. Here's David Crosby. Hi, David.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Hello, Captain Lee.
Hi.
Welcome.
Have a seat right here.
I'll try.
Yeah. Well, David, it's good to have you here on the show.
Thank you.
They gave us some of the old albums, including the original Woodstock, which I guess is a classic, huh?
Yeah. It's got any mud on it?
Looks like it's been through.
It's been through Woodstock, I think.
Absolutely.
You said that was a really harmonious time.
Yes, it was. It was actually an amazing, amazing time. I don't think anything else like it has ever happened. I'm kind of afraid to have anybody try to duplicate it.
Yeah, they've tried. Haven't been able to.
Unsuccessfully.
Yeah.
But everybody was up there, huh?
Yeah.
Jefferson Airplane, Sebastian.
Yeah, when we said we were scared, that's actually who we were scared about. We had the whole, everybody that we respected in the music business standing around behind us in a circle saying, okay, you're the new kids on the block, show it to us.
Yes,
Let's see,
yeah.
you know.
But you did good, huh?
Yeah, we did okay.
Yeah. How was it writing this book, David? You know, you've been in and out of the headlines the last couple of years.
Boy, no kidding. It was actually wonderful. It helped me a great deal in a lot of ways. I wanted to do it anyway because I thought it was such an outrageous story. But it helped me deal with it. You know, you can't just ignore everything that happened to you or that you did. You know, and I did a lot of stuff that I wasn't really happy about. And I went back and in the course of writing the book, had to look at everything, you know, and say, gee, did I do that?
Yeah, it forces you to look at it and evaluate it, doesn't it? It's almost therapeutic.
Yeah, it was very.
Sure.
But when you say, did I do that, in a way, you didn't even know you were doing that. You were basically drug addicted for about 25 years, weren't you?
About 20.
Yeah.
I would call the last 10 years of it really severe, really severely addicted.
You thought you could handle it there for a while.
Everybody thinks they can handle it.
Yeah.
I like to describe it as a road that when you start, you cannot see the end of the road. And it's a twisty road, and you go in, you start it, and you think, oh, I'm just, you know, doing a little of this, a little of that, and going over so-and-so's house, getting a little loaded. And you don't realize, you know, you can't see the end of the path where it goes.
Yeah.
Straight down.
Yeah.
Began with marijuana?
Yeah, sure. Like anybody.
And you worked up to?
Cocaine and heroin.
At the same time, about 7 grams of
same
cocaine
time?
and a half a gram of heroin a day.
That's the figure show.
David! You're still here.
Yeah,
Like that song says.
I think that's why everybody was curious and wanted me to write the book, because they were trying to figure out how somebody that could do that could still be alive. At the worst of it, I spent about $1,000 a day on drugs.
Wow.
And the last thing you had to sell was your piano to pay for.
That was what I sold to run away when I became a federal fugitive. Smart, huh?
What happened with that episode?
Well, that's actually where the story started to get better. In most stories of alcoholism and addiction, there is a point at which the person bottoms out. And that's when I came to that point. I ran away, and I was a fugitive, and I knew that I was going to have to do time. I had been busted enough times. And I came to a point where I was sitting in Florida on my boat, which was decrepit at the time because I'd spent all the money on drugs. And I realized I just couldn't be that guy anymore. Just couldn't do it.
That was the turning point.
Yeah, that was the turning point. And then I turned myself in and did the time and came out the other end of it.
And how'd you clean yourself up, you know?
Well, we're not supposed to say the name, but you obviously know there are 12-step programs that, you know, help you recover. And I found those to be a great help, an enormous help.
You had a 25-year habit here that we're talking
very
about.
serious, very serious. I was completely out of control towards the end, and so it was not easy to come back from it. And I have had a lot of advantages that other people don't have. I have a wonderful wife who helped me a great deal.
Although she was having to go through detox herself.
She went through it too. She went through a very tough time. She did it even in a way. Well, I don't know. We both had tough ways to do it. I detoxed by being put in solitary.
That's in Texas?
Yeah, and locked up for months at a time and fed through a hole in the door. She did it in another way that's very tough. although that way wasn't fun. She did it out where you could make the mistake again.
She had access to it.
She could go out and just leave, and so she had a lot of guts to do it her way. And then I had friends, really good friends that helped me a great deal. And as I say that, the 12-step programs.
Everyone,
that's great.
Now the legendary guitarist and vocalist Stephen Stills has also joined his former bandmate Graham Nash in paying tribute to David Crosby, who died on Thursday at the age of 81. In a statement provided to reporters, Stills came out and paid some emotional tributes to the legend Croz. The statement read, "I read a quote in this morning's paper attributed to composer Gustav Mahler that stopped me for a moment. Death has on placid cat's paws entered the room. I should have known something was up." Stills' father said, "David and I batted heads a lot, over time, but they were mostly glancing blows, yet still left us numbskulls. I was happy to be at peace with him. He was without question a giant of a musician, and his harmonic sensibilities were nothing short of genius. The glue that held us together as our vocals soared like Icarus towards the sun. I am deeply saddened at his passing and shall miss him beyond measure." Graham Nash, whose voice melded perfectly with those of David Crosby and Stephen Stills in one of the best folk rock trios of their era, remembered his late bandmate Crosby today, as did Melissa Etheridge, with whom Crosby fathered 2 children. Melissa said, "I am grieving the loss of my friend and Bailey's biological father." David Etheridge writes on her Facebook page, "He gave me the gift of family. I will forever be grateful to him, Django and John. His music and legacy will inspire many generations to come. A true treasure." Crosby was the sperm donor for Etheridge and then partner Julie Cypher in their efforts to build a family. In addition to daughter Bailey, they had a son, Bucade, who died at 21 in 2020 after a long struggle with addiction. More still, Graham Nash also paid tribute to the singer via his Facebook, where he released a touching emotional statement. It read, "It is with deep and profound sadness that I learned that my friend David Crosby has passed," Nash said on Facebook. "I know people tend to focus on how volatile our relationship has been at times, but what has always mattered to David and me more than anything was the pure joy of music we created together, the sound we discovered with one another, and the deep friendship we shared over all these many long years. David was fearless in life and me in music. He leaves behind a tremendous void as far as sheer personality and talent in this world. He spoke his mind, his heart, and his passion through his beautiful music and leaves an incredible legacy. These are the things that matter most. My heart is truly with his wife, Jan, his son, Django, and all of the people he has touched in this world." Nash Crosby and Stephen Stills initially met in 1966 when Nash, then in the band The Hollies, was on a US tour. The three reunited at a now nearly mythic party at the Laurel Canyon home of Cass Elliot. Nash soon left the Hollies to for Crosby and Stills in 1968. A year later, Neil Young began an off-and-on collaboration with the trio as Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young. In recent years, long-standing friction between Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young reached a boiling point, with Crosby alienated from the other three. Rest in poking.